So after the Fate of the Furious, the drive-in decided to play right next to it the Belko Experiment. I know this movie's been out for about a month, and I'm sort of many reviews up online for this, but I was like, first off, I wasn't sure whether I was going to go or stay for the second movie. Sometimes I usually don't, even though I hadn't seen the Belko Experiment yet. I had to work the next day, and I was like, I don't know about this. And then I'm like, well, the movie's like 80 minutes long, so fuck it, I guess. Why not go see it? It's only 80 minutes long, and hell, the drive-in started the movie earlier than it was supposed to play, so hey. I still didn't get home till about 1 o'clock in the morning, but whatever. The Belko Experiment was a movie that I would have gone seen if it had gotten better reviews. It didn't look bad from the trailers. It had a lot of people I really liked in it. It had a kind of interesting concept. It was like basically Office Space or The Office mixed in with Battle Royale. Why the fuck not? And it was being written by James Gunn, the guy who wrote and directed Guardians of the Galaxy and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. So I love James Gunn, and I was like, and it was being directed by the guy that made Wolf Creek. If you wonder how many people remember that movie, but I love it. I actually really liked that movie. I know a lot of people didn't like that movie, but I really did. Yeah, so I was like, it looks fine. I'd heard decent things about it since it came out by a few people, and yeah, it was perfectly fine. That's exactly all I could say about this movie. Bye. No, I'm just joking. It's probably gonna be a short review. It was perfectly fine for a film. It's a movie that really is not a character-driven film. Like somebody did pretty much warn me about this movie, because they pretty much from the get-go, like, you only spend about maybe 10 minutes with the main characters in this movie before shit happens. It's an 80-minute movie. They don't fucking waste any time. You kind of get a gist of, like, very brief gist of every character, most of the characters in this film, the ones that you spend the most time with. You have the main guy who you follow from the beginning, who is dating a girl in the office who's divorced, I guess, or something. They don't really delve into that. Then you have Tony Goldwyn, who's the boss, who's just an average boss in an office place. You have where's my phone at? I can't remember the guy's name, and I wish I had my phone. It's fucking somewhere. Damn it! The guy who's somebody in the comments is a guy that's always in a lot of movies. I know. I know one of the only people I know by name that's in this. Oh, and Michael Rooker is Michael Rooker and Tony Goldwyn. But he's the guy who's keeps hitting on the main girl in the movie and creeping her out, and he kind of like just doesn't take no for an answer. You establish kind of like the broad strokes of who these characters are. They don't really give you too much time to like really get to know them, but that's kind of a good thing, because honestly, man, people die. Like, I will give this movie credit, because a lot of this fucking just people die nonstop, right and left. Just people that it's like you think like this character will survive or this character will survive, and then next thing you know, they both end up dead. Like it's one of those kinds of movie. Even like a lot of characters you think will survive won't survive. It's a movie, like one of those kinds of movies, kind of unpredictable in some ways. Although, really, I heard some people say, like, you don't really know who's going to be the final survivor of this film. Honestly, you can, from the get-go, just you can kind of figure out who the main characters of this thing are and who the really main character is. And once you kind of do, you're like, yeah, that person's going to be the last survivor, and they are. It's pretty easy to figure out. I remember somebody saying they were surprised by it. I'm like, I wasn't really. Just because of, like, how the movie opened and everything. Tony Goldwyn is awesome in this thing. He is one of the best things about this movie. What a shock he's the villain in this fucking movie. He turns into this giant psychopath when chips are down. Like, he wants to kill, like, when the voice over the intercom just says you have to kill 30 people of your coworkers or 60 of you will die. He just decides, fuck it, I'm lining 30 of you people up, and I'm going to just shoot you point blank in the head. That's a great scene in the movie, and they're playing like a lot of, like, music alongside it. It's freaking great. It's a great scene. Man, I don't know what the hell I'll talk about with this thing. I mean, I love the concept for this thing. It's creative. I'll give it props. Like, it takes the battle royale concept of, fighting to the death and seeing who survives last, and put it in an office setting. Why the fuck not? I mean, hey, I'll give them credit for doing something a little unique with that concept. It is I'll give it, like, from what I could tell, and it looked like a lot of practical effects, which I give a lot of thumbs up to. There might have been CGI blood here or there, but I didn't really notice too much. For the most part, it looked practical, and the effects looked pretty impressive. Damn, I don't know what there's not much to talk about with this movie, like, other than it's a perfectly fine film. It's, like I said, it's a short sit. I had no problems with it. I was surprised it got as badly received as it did. Didn't deserve that kind of rating. Like, I mean, it had like a 40% on Rotten Tomatoes. It didn't deserve that shit. Like I said, it's fine for what it was. It's not like a big character-driven horror movie, but it didn't need to be. Yeah, I recommend this movie. So that's as far as the reviews go. I will be back within the next couple of days. I do got to review The Case for Christ. I have to say it like that. That's a movie that I had no idea about. I just finally watched the trailer for it. I had no idea this movie existed until, like, about a couple weeks ago, and it came out, and it's got decent reviews. It's the first PureFlix film to get good reviews. That's the same company that made God's Not Dead, and I've refused to, like, watch any of those movies. Not just because I'm religious. It's not because I'm not religious at all or anything like that. It's just because those movies are fucking terrible from what I've been told. So so I'm going to be going to see one of those movies, and I'm going to finally get a chance to see it and give my take. I'm sure I'll piss somebody off because I'm not very religious at all. But I mean, I'll keep an open mind with this movie. From the trailers, it didn't look all that interesting, but whatever. I'll see why this is getting well received. Hell, it's getting better reviews than fucking Fate of the Furious. I want to see how that happened. So, honestly, I think this movie's only get like 13 reviews out on Rotten Tomatoes. So I don't even know how the hell this is getting like a fresh rating, but whatever. Until then, I will talk to you guys later.